No, you're gonna dig this.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting match of Jet Set Radio Future Bingo Season 4. As always, I'm AceBat OS printing It's Too Early for This since January 2022. Today we have two players battling it out to see who will win this round of Bingo. In the brown corner we have the current DJ% world record holder, Crabbi, versus the purple corner where we have the world's greatest Updog fan, Naestrinus. And in the commentators box today we have the duo that reads horror stories in Braille so they can feel when something bad is about to happen. It's Eclaprecious and Nago.
Hey, hello everybody. Good morning. Happy 9/10 a.m. and welcome back to JSRF Bingo. It's me, Eclapricious, joined once more by Nago, the third episode of the Sis on This Island podcast of the season. Today's match, Naestrinus versus Crabbi, Sickos reunion. And, well, given what we saw in Crabbi's previous match, I'm very, very excited to see Crabbi play more bingo, more than anything else.
I'm interested in this match for many different reasons. For one, this match is also kind of a reunion of the Sickos Jehovah's Favorite Catboys match from last season, because it has everybody except Jammy is involved with this match, as in me and Ekla are commentating it, Crabbi and Nay are playing in it, Twink is doing tech, again in the like around 9-10 a.m. again. But yeah, this time it's going to be between Crabbi and Nay, which means it'll hopefully be of higher quality than when Twink and Jammy were like sleep deprived and like just half conscious playing bingo. So I hope it'll work out this time. We'll see. I mean, I think both of these players, I don't know about Nay's sleep, but I know that Crabbi like went to sleep at like 2 a.m. So see how that goes.
Yeah, like I think you and Crabbi have had the most sleep of anyone involved with this right now by quite the margin. But we make do. We do what we can. I'm curious to see Nay play, because it has now been they've played 2 games, and week 1 versus AceBats, I think they hadn't practiced at all, really, and it was a bit of a wake-up call to an extent. And then there was the match against Kev, which it happened. I don't think it was the best kind of display of how Ney has improved since week 1. So I think this will be an interesting match to see how close it gets, because I think a lot of people are expecting Crabbi to win this one, given how incredibly well he played against you in one of the best matches of the season. So yeah, hopefully our players are good to go. Let's have a look. Yeah, looks like they're ready. So we can move on into game 1.
Gamer hours. Let's see what
All right,
do we
let's take
have. We got Sky Garno, Highway Zero Graffiti, everyone's favorite. So
Suez.
Kage Crane, Cubby, yeah, Suez.
I feel like if you see Suez squares in a game against Crabbi, you just feel like you're on the back foot already. But Ney is also a super rat, so you know this could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that bad for Ney, like in this situation. Like I think it's more, I don't know. I think it's fine to deal with sewer squares, as long as
Yeah, but we
you
got
can climb,
2
which
defaults.
they can do probably climb. And yeah,
Yeah.
sewer's entrance center, those are like squares anybody can get.
Yeah, so fortunately there's no real heavy sewers stuff other than the graffiti. But those 2 defaults look pretty good. And of course, with every game of bingo, we look to Shibuya to see what we got there, you know, what's fast. And there's Dogen, isolated platform downhill. There is Shibuya tricks. Shua right canal's a little slow. So honestly, Shibuya doesn't look too dominant this game. I still expect that we'll probably see both players, head off to Shibuya. But it will be very much pick up the high value souls and then leave. And then immediately head out to somewhere else. So Shibuya Cubby. Ney going for it.
Oh,
Hitting the boostless
Crabby
bus
did
jump.
hit A! No, Crabby!
So Ney scores that. So first point of the game over to them. And now both of them into Hikage, but Crabby slightly ahead because he missed the boostless bus jump.
Yeah.
So what
So-
are they competing for here? Is this Crane? Yeah.
They're probably competing for Crane. There's kind of a weird. So, I've noticed. Okay, so Crabby gets Crane. So there's a weird kind of bingo on this board, which is bottom left to top right, which is 3 Shibuya souls and then the 2 slowest sewer souls, which is like I feel like if you see like Hikage points in right canal, you're like, well, that can't be that good. But like, it's kind of 2 squares that no one's gonna, or like your opponent might not look at, and it's something that could maybe happen like later on in the game. Like, there's a world where Crabby, like, or even Ney, like one of them does like kind of ends up safely doing Sewers graffiti, and then suddenly like you get the Hikage tape, you get you a right canal, you get points 3k, and suddenly you have like one of the weirdest bingos that you can get in a game.
Yeah, this is something that both
Yeah.
you and Crabby, I think, have started to champion, is this idea of building up bingos that sneak up on people, and not
Yeah.
going necessarily for the most obvious bingos, the fastest bingos. It's just kind of assessing where you're going to be throughout the course of the game, and how that can build into a late bingo that your opponent's going to have a hard time predicting and blocking.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that from both of you in your game against each other. This kind of like combo style of bingo, I suppose, as opposed to just kind of running something down, which we saw a lot in 2v2. So Crabby managed to just have better movement into or out of Shibuya, and that means he's now in Benton Cho, uncontested, because Ney is going to these quick equals and Sewers. So we've seen them split up. It's a slight lead for Crabby right now, but Ney should be able to pick up the second default in Sewers. In fact, not actually going for it. And is immediately dipping into Kibo in... Oh no, going for the climb?
Okay.
Wait, okay, that's...
Any
Never
climbers
mind,
in
that's
chat?
actually just super swag.
Any-
I was like, you know, they're in the tunnel for the first level climb, but no, they just dip out of it, go for the fast climb, and score it. That was incredibly clean from me.
You gotta do it that way. Come on now, you gotta do it like that. I mean, it doesn't save you that much time, but it does save you time, and that's all that matters. It's a big
that's
Euro
confidence
style.
right there.
What it is.
So very, very closely contested game here, 3 points apiece. As man, both players are just schmoovin'. This is a really exciting game just in terms of like the high level of movement that we're going to see, I think, and just the swag strats that both players I think are going to be able to pull off. Crabbi's into Highway Zero, starting off with graffiti, a man after my own heart, whilst Nae's in bottom point has already picked up the default there. Is that the only thing in bottom point? It looks like it. So now we kind of have to consider who's getting the most points out of the area that they're in right now. Crabbi's working on this Highway Zero graffiti route, so he's got 3 points for himself there, as well as the default for Trash Pit. But then Kogane still looks pretty strong. You've got Sue's graffiti is still on the board, though I don't think it's a massive priority. RDH Topper Station is on the board. There is also there's some stuff in Kibo. There's more sewer stuff to pick up. There's Air and Special, some FRZ stuff. So I'm curious to see whether Nae stays in Kogane or whether they move out to Bentoncho to contest Crabbi. The way that they're moving right now, I'm guessing they are leaving, going into Bentoncho, instead of going for that Topper Station in RDH. No, they are. I mean, into RDH. Is there something I've missed here?
I don't believe so. I think it just.
I feel like that's a slower way to get to Topper Station.
Yeah. It might be that like Nae is just kind of like still trying to figure out like what the board's like, and just kind of going to garage, and then was like, oh, I guess I'll get top of station to go back. I don't know, but I really like the way Crabbi's approaching this dark side cleanup, because he's kind of recognized that like you can do the graffiti route and then pick up Trash Pit and then pick up Air. Wait, did he pick up Trash Pit? Yeah, he did. So it's like you basically kind of like pick up the 99's default, then you just disappear for 3 minutes, and suddenly you have 5 more points. Which means that like Nae has kind of like been in decision limbo, because they just don't know where Crabbi is, and so don't know if they have to like commit to sewers or if they have to like play defensive. And yeah, they just kind of picked up top of station while Crabbi picked up like 5 points.
Yeah, that's actually really insightful. Like we talk about it all the time, having God vision and such. But yeah, Crabbi playing the information game very much there in like stacking up those 5 points to pick them up in quick succession, whilst also removing a lot of information from Nae in that 3-minute period. Means that Nae is working with very incomplete information.
Oh, Nae, please.
Come on, Nae. There we go.
So he's gonna go for graffiti, or is this maybe partially graffiti? This is like a lot of commitment, especially because Crabbi's gonna be able to do Sky Dino. Oh no, Crabbi. Okay,
oh, it's fine.
Crabbi's back. Crabbi's back.
It's fine. Yeah, so I don't hate Sue's graffiti here because there is still Special and Air on the board. So there are like 5 points in Sewers, and if you feel uncontested, it's swag fine. Just barely short. That's unfortunate. And all the way back down to the bottom.
And gets Air unlock. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's see how quickly they can recover from this climbing back up.
It always scares me when I see like Nae. I think Nae is like the person who predominantly does the like glitchy wall rides. Do other people do it? I think somebody else does it as well. But like Nae's I think the one I see do the most, and it just makes me so scared. Like it's just is. I don't know.
Clean movement from Nae though. Just skipping any extra movement in the sewers where possible and frame boosting all the way.
I mean, this is what happens when you play ILs, I guess.
Yeah. So we actually see Crabbi's in Sky Dino right now and working on the Sky Dino graffiti route. Dropping down to take the tape as well. There's the
his Nae movement is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
This is really a treat of a match to watch with these two players and the capabilities. Okay, so there's nothing else in Skydance. Crabbi is just coming to get sprays over here and working through this graffiti route. With 2 graffitis on the board for Crabbi, that's a lot of points that Nae's got to make up. And because they've spent the majority of the game split, it really just comes down to, are there more points in Kogane or are there more points in Benton? And I feel like Crabbi made the right call in going for 2 very quick graffiti routes, even if there aren't enough points in Benton for him to win the game, he can dip out and pick up whatever's left in Shibuya. Still got Doga Tricks, she's still got Doga Nice on the platform. Shibuya Tricks is still on the board. So for his time invested, I feel like Crabbi is getting more out of what's available on the board right now.
That's fair. I would say one thing is like the squares that Nae is getting like from doing sewers are really nice though. Like they basically block off any bingo that Crabbi could still go for. Like column 2 gets blocked, bottom left, top right gets blocked. So you know, row 1, which is completely empty currently, is also getting blocked. So like, it's not like, obviously, you know, points wise, like obviously, you know, Nae's gonna be on the back foot. It's gonna be hard to recover from like this deficit that they're in. But on the other hand, at least, oh, is Nae just gonna drop? Ooh, Nae's just gonna drop. Wait, is that intentional? I can't tell if that's intentional. Okay, it's not intentional. Never mind.
Oh.
I thought that Nae was leaving to go to
thought,
Kibo,
yeah.
and I was like, all right, this is like, it's kind of weird, but like, it could maybe throw off Crabbi a little bit, because it could just mean that Nae like slowly got Air 4, and it's like, okay, you know, slow Air 4, pre-unlocks special and then leaves, you know, like in Crabbi's head, it's like, oh, maybe like sewers is still a square that's like realistic for me. But no, okay, Nae's just gonna stay. But yeah, like, at least Nae blocks off a lot of bingo, so it's like it's more than just points. It's a productive, like, it's a productive amount of squares to get. It's just, yeah, like, you still have to make up the actual points deficit that you have.
Yeah, and
which is like,
looking
yeah.
at the squares that they currently have, this does feel a little risk averse from Nae, if they are planning to block the bingos, in particular, because they really don't have anything working for themselves right now. They have potential row 1, and that's it. You know, and that would be a monumental task in terms of bingos. So I feel like, you know, seeing where the early squares landed, yes, playing to avoid getting bingoed on does make sense if in wanting to stay in the game, but also there is the factor of you're giving up 2 graffitis to Crabbi, and that's, you know, that's a point swing that it's going to be a lot harder for them to make up by playing this kind of defensive style, I suppose.
It's gonna go into 100 meter. This is kind of risky, because this is kind of one of the weird things especially in 1v1 as opposed to 2v2, is where like you don't have to finish graffiti, you know, like it kind of almost happened in the game against me and Crabbi, where like I partialed and then left. I just kind of messed up the timings, but like you could do a lot of this like partial graffiti thing and then quickly pick up like the 2 extra squares you need for your win condition and then go back and finish the graffiti.
Yeah, as long as you're not losing the graffiti to your opponent.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't necessarily need to complete the graffiti, you just need to make sure that your opponent doesn't get it, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, partialing and then coming back, if you have an idea of where your opponent is on the board, can work.
Yeah, because like if you look at the board right now, like effectively, if you assume that Nae gets both the graffiti and special, they have 10 points, which is but then they have to, but then they have to get 16 to win, which means that like they need to get like, I think almost everything that's left on the board, which includes like multiple, you know, like Shibuya Cho souls, which means that like they can't really afford to be in sewers while Crabbi is doing all of this cleanup.
Yeah, and we mentioned it before. It feels like Crabbi has used his time on the board more effectively, where he kind of went into both Shibuya and Benton and took exactly what he needed and then left. And now he's, you know, set to win the game on a Shibuya cleanup. He's actually leaving Shibuya, so that's really strange from Crabbi. I'm not sure. Is he working towards? He can't be working towards a bingo. There are no more bingos left in the board.
I feel like the
Now with
moment you
Sua's marked.
you leave, like at this point you just go back to Dogen. I mean, I guess because it's Kibo, FRZ, STPP, Dogen, Hikage points. Like you could just do Dogen. Like you're not gonna get sniped to that, and then you just do like waiting strats, waiting on Nate to mark something, and then you go where they're not, and then you win. I mean, I guess. I mean, maybe. Oh, I know what he wants to do. He wants to try to do the mega launch, right? He just wants to do it in a match. I think he might just want to.
You just want to do it for the sake of swag. That would be a very Crabbi move. Yeah.
I mean, like, look, we spent about an hour yesterday, like, trying to learn setups for the mega launch, and like, I don't know if he's been practicing, but we felt like, I don't know, we got like dangerously close to what felt like a potentially like not consistent, but like, you know, like doable mega launch.
So both our players are now setting up for the stall launch. Crabbi has the new tech.
Oh, he's trying for it though, and he's not really hitting it. Oh, but Nay missed.
Nay goes out of bounds.
Crabbi's trying, but it's like, this is the thing. It's like we figured this out like yesterday at 1 a.m. Okay, he's going for it. Ooh, that was close. That was close.
That's still a very good stall launch, even if it's not the ideal.
Yeah, it's been the new thing where you do that mega launch and you just make sure that like, because the goal of that mega launch is to kind of get like in that wall in the green tunnel, like the left wall, and then the visual cue is that once you're past that wall, you hold full left. So like, if you just make sure that when you're overcorrecting for like where you want to go, getting inside of the wall, you overcorrect slightly too much to the right, you still always, if you fuck it up, go into the green tunnel, and it's still like a normal launch. So, so like it works. It's unfortunately not the mega launch, but you know, he's still ahead of Nay because he got it.
The weirdest thing is this is not how I expected this game to conclude. Was both players going into Kibo and fighting over stall launch, but Crabbi does get into Kibo, I believe. I think he was behind. Then gets out ahead, should be able to pick up. So he's going for another round.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm guessing he wants points.
The worst part about this is that he doesn't have to do mega launch. He needs to do the normal setup, which I'm not sure if he could do it. Like, I think he's had consistency issues with the normal launch, so I'm very curious if he's gonna. Okay, this looks like the normal launch. To get it? Oh. Okay, that's good enough. He falls into the water.
Yeah.
It saves time, kind of.
The interesting thing here is I think they're going for different souls. I think Crabbi's going for points and Nay's going for tricks.
This is kind of a weirdly risky approach because he's going for tricks.
Oh, he already had tricks unlocked.
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to. I'm not sure if he did the tape tricks thing, like where you do the tricks and then you land on the tape. I'm not sure if he did that. But yeah, he did have it unlocked already, and then I guess he's gonna go for points. It's like,
yeah, and then it's 1 point to win for him. Nay needs to leave. This is interesting because this is where, if it's gonna happen, we'll see waiting strats from Crabbi. He knows he needs 1 point to win. Though Nay is out ahead. Well, Nay's actually not leaving. Oh my god, that was close. Grind goes over to Nay. So, just barely holding on to this this game for now. Crabbi can't get that. Nay is going to get out ahead. Yeah, so like, all Crabbi has to do is just wait for Nay to show and mark something, and then go somewhere else.
Yeah,
to win the game. If we're gonna see waiting strats, which I mean, I'm not a fan of it from a spectator's perspective. Yeah, Kigobaka, let's go Crabbi. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this idea of like waiting around for your opponent to reveal, but it is optimal.
I mean,
so
yeah,
this might be the opportunity where we actually do get to see it.
I mean, it's basically like, unfortunately, this is basically like JSRF Bingo's like version of garbage time. You know, like there's basically no real like counterplay for it, and it's just unfortunate. It's mostly just because of the slower pace of 1v1. What can you do?
Interestingly, both of them leave Kogane here, with
Well,
FRZ Trick still on the board. 3 in Shibuya-cho and 1 in SDPP. Crabbi out ahead here. So, you know, the ball is in Crabbi's court. Absolutely. Like, he just needs to pick up one thing, and it's probably going to be fast default in Dogen to win the game here. May having some
he's not gonna wait.
movement issues. So yeah, Crabbi doesn't wait. He just goes for the fastest possible soul. No, he doesn't. He
He's
goes
gotta go for Trickster 20.
tricks.
That makes sense. That makes sense. He kind of decides to forego waiting strats and just go for like the weird soul, which is what I would have done. Like go for like the weird soul. Yeah, Nay realizes that game's won and calls GG. So that'll be game 1. Crabbi. I think that game was kind of cool. I feel like I think, as I said before, it was like, it kind of just like, the game was kind of decided by like, just kind of Nay's like kind of indecision, and then kind of like, when you're playing 1v1, there's like a lot of weird timing things that you need to know. Like in 2v2, it's really hard to play on timings at times because of co-oping and doing weird stuff. And just because co-op opens up so many potential more bingos. While in 1v1, there's so many weird timing things. You know your opponent's here. It's gonna take about 2 minutes for them to get here. So like maybe you could get an extra square and then beat them to this thing. And like you try to squeeze in a lot of things. And like this game kind of required Nate to kind of like recognize that and like leave sewers and kind of get some squares like in Shibuya-cho while Crabbi was doing them or something. Or try to like sweep Kibo or something.
Yeah, I think timing is the name of the game, like you said. Crabbi used his time very effectively and also withheld a lot of information from Nate to keep them guessing, and really only picked up what he needed to win. Interestingly, though, in the chat, he didn't know he was a single point away from winning the game. He said he was going, or maybe he did, but he said he was going for Dogen Tape and then going to STPP, which I feel like seems like 3 steps too many for winning the game.
You just do
like,
waiting strats, right?
You just do waiting strats, so you just pick up the default, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, exactly.
Crabbi maybe is
sometimes
playing
he thinks
too much
too hard.
bingo.
He sometimes
he's
thinks too
thinking
hard.
too much.
I think Crabbi sometimes is definitely a person who thinks a bit too hard. This is a weird board.
Look at
There's
this
a
Shibuya.
lot of
Look
fast.
at this Shibuya.
There are so many fast squares on this board. There's Kage Crane. There's Chuo. There's
2
Dogen
defaults in
right of
Dogen.
Streets. There's Trash Pit. There's Bottom Point Grind 10, Sewers Entrance, RDH Grind 10, FRZ defaults, Catwalk near Cube.
This could be a really fast game.
This is gonna be, and also a lot of these souls are like good lined up. Like you have column 4,
Column 3,
column 3,
row 4.
I mean, column 5 is almost arguably like good as well. Like like the
doesn't suck.
like bottom left or top left to bottom right is like pretty decent. There are so many bingos on this board.
Row
Like,
4 looks actually kind of crazy. Chua Tricks right
Yeah.
canal, Hikage Crane, bottom point grind and air.
This is a weird board where you can get sniped to a lot of Shibuya-cho stuff, and you can still potentially walk out with a bingo if you just get like the 2 squares you need.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is
gonna be weird.
yeah, this is a test of like value assessment, right? It's what squares do I need? It's not how many squares can I get in Shibuya-cho and not get sniped. You know, it's which ones do I need, and the ability to react as well to which squares your opponent gets and which ones you get in this early rush in Shibuya. And it's actually Nate going into Dogen and Crabbi going into Shibuya, so it's going to be a slight divergence from our players here.
This is not that bad of I think one thing that's interesting about this board is that despite the fact that like there's a lot of Shibuya-cho stuff, like you could do what I think Ney is trying to do, which is pick up just like a couple squares and then just go Kogane and try to like work on Kogane and just make sure that like you block the bingos that the Shibuya rusher will actually get or will be going for, and then like trying to get trying to get the lead on all the Kogane stuff.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing to see in Bingo is like denying an opponent's win condition with as few squares as possible. It's something that Darth was really good at doing in a couple of his games, was just taking exactly what he needed to prevent the kind of dominant strategy that he expected his opponent to do from really working. And Ney's literally just grabbing one default and then straight into Kogane. So Crabbi, I would imagine, is now going to be a little confused, given that there's still plenty in Shibuya-cho for Ney to pick up, but they've not marked him. So Crabbi now has no necessary idea where Ney is. He's just going to keep on working his plan. Just pick up right canal here. We'll have... This is actually his first square of the game for Crabbi. Didn't go for tricks.
Maybe he goes for tricks now. Yeah.
The thing is, like, tricks is right next to the right next to the tape. So maybe he was concerned that he was being contested, and that's why he didn't go for the tricks unlock. He wanted the 2 points from going into canals. So Ney has kind of slowed Crabbi down a little bit there with that denial of information once more, and they're picking up some pretty fast stuff here in Suez and Farzine.
Yeah, this is I think Ney is the one who's been playing kind of the more like tightrope style, because one of the bingos that you get from sweeping Shibuya-cho is potentially column 3, which is the bingo that Ney or the one that does not contain Kogane. And obviously that requires going to Dogen Special. It's like slow, dumb, and stupid, but it is there. And it might freak Ney a little bit out. Not yet though. Just gonna go for the tape and I guess get RDH stuff. But it's there. It's on the board, and it's a bit scary because it's like it's just one Sky Dino default, and if you're in Kogane, you're gonna be probably deep, and you're gonna be stuck, and you're not gonna make it like in time. So like at some point, while Ney's doing this RDH stuff, they will see this row 3 or column 3 bingo on the board, and Ney will have to like assess if they're willing to go for it, or if they want to go, or if they want to continue with this Kogane stuff. Like, do you think Crabbi is going to do Dogen Special and do Sky Dino default and potentially leave you alone with all these other bingos you got? Or do you need to rush Sky Dino and get that default?
I feel like Ney leaves now. I don't think going for tricks is worth it, but they might just spray like Sauna and leave. Oh no, they're going all the way up. So yeah, it's kind of like what you're saying is like, when do you go to Benton if you're Ney here? And I feel like, yes, there's the threat of the bottom left and top right bingo, but that's RDH Graffiti and RDH Tricks, and you have the tape. I feel like you can afford to let that sit for a while and then head out to Benton and continue to deny Crabbi's win conditions. Because like you said, the Sky Dino default is really important, and it's pretty quick to pick up as well. And it doesn't necessarily, ruin your win conditions when there's a Highway 0 default on column 5. There is still let's see here, Sky Dino there. Yeah, I feel like Kogane is really, really strong, but Ney has the advantage in Kogane because they've spent the whole game here so far. And I feel like it's not bad to dip out of Kogane for a little while and just pick up some other stuff elsewhere. You've still got some really quick stuff that you can pick up in terms of defaults. Dogen Isolated Platform is still there.
I think leaving is actually the wrong play, because if you're looking at the way the board is right now, there's bottom point, right? And bottom point blocks row 4 and sets up row or column 4 and column 5. And pretty much forces Crabbi to go in Dogen to do the full lap. Is he gonna go Dogen? I think he has to go Dogen, right? Yeah, he has to go Dogen.
Okay, this
at
is
point.
interesting.
So this
Yeah,
is
both
actually
players now have to respond to their opponent's bingo threats. Yeah, with
Yeah,
Crabbi and
Nate has-
Dogen and Ney in bottom point.
So Nate has about like so he's gonna pick up. Ooh, he's gonna go pick up 8. Is he gonna go for his bingo? Because this is kind of weird. Because I would think if I was Crabbi, I would be going for the full loop, and then like just take the L of taking the full loop and doing graffiti special and get isolated platform down the hill.
It would
but
actually be
it's-
crazy if he went for special and then left, and then just went to Sky Dino to lock in the bingo.
Yeah, this is kind of. I'm curious if he wants to go and do like the graffiti like this and then do special like on his way out. That could be a way of doing this. He's actually
Like,
not
this-
gonna
this
get bottom
bingo
point
threat-
air.
I don't think they need it at this point. They've done what they needed to do to block the row 4, and now I think suddenly priorities are elsewhere. So Crabbi, I feel like, has the advantage right now, just given what squares are being contested. I'm curious to see right now if he picks up right of street. Isolated platform. No, he will absolutely pick up isolated platform. There's no reason for him not to, right?
I'm not sure if Crabbi has the upper hand. Because he's currently in like setting up, like he has to like set out fires right now. He's like,
Okay, Ney's going to dark side.
because he's at least going. Yeah, he's at least going to commit, or at least he gets special, and he's gonna commit for graffiti. Yeah, he's committing for graffiti. So Ney now gets to go dark side and both block Crabbi bingos and set up anything that they might need, like trash pit. Or potentially get the Sky Dino default themselves and maybe skyscraper points and then do RDH graffiti. Like there's a lot of stuff on the board that Ney can just kind of get. And
Wait, hold
suddenly
on.
Ney has all the board control, and Crabbi has to do this Dogen stuff, and there's
Did
nothing else
Crabbi
he
not
can
pick up
do.
isolated platform? He's not marked it.
Well, because that's later in the
Oh,
middle of the level.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of
Tricks and
past statue. I'm sorry, it's
Tricks and oh, you're thinking of past
it's
statue.
late. I was thinking of past statue. Okay, no.
No worries. There's no worries.
The fact that it's isolated platform downhill, yeah, that changes things.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's
Sky
fine.
Dino.
Because that was the square I was concerned with, and that's why I was saying that I felt like Crabbi has the advantage here, because that isolated platform, I think, pretty much just kind of takes all of Ney's bingos away. You know, they can't do column 5 anymore. They might have had row 2.
Row 5
has Dogen special on it. They still have row 5. It has RDH graffiti on it, which they have the slightest head start to. We might end up getting a race for RDH graffiti in this game. I think it's really important for Ney, and I think Crabbi needs to assess that. But if Ney just dips into dark side, picks up what they need here, and then goes straight to RDH, I think they're back on the offensive.
Yeah, like I definitely think. Yeah, like there is. It's just yeah, you just oops, no, yeah, like it kind of just puts like Crabbi's gonna get points from this, but it's like Ney gets to pick up like any strategic squares that they might need. They're going to Highway 0 though. I'm not sure if I like this.
No, I don't think this is the play right now.
If you get just trash pit, maybe, but like there's not that much value here. And you want to try and maybe get like skyscraper points and just kind of like scare Crabbi.
This has been such a
into
back and
RDH
forth
graffiti.
game in terms of pressure. The fact that now Ney reveals in Highway 0, I feel like has to inform Crabbi's next move. I don't know if he was considering going to RDH to try and block that bingo and pick up the double graffitis. I feel like he knows that he will have the advantage to that if he does that right.
Oh, Ney's going for air. All right, let me just look at.
So I don't know if Ney was threatening the bingo and then just trying to pick up other points elsewhere instead of actually cashing in the graffiti bingo on row 5. But I feel like Crabbi picking this up is kind of big, because that puts him at 2 graffitis to 0 with no graffitis left on the board. And at that point, no bingos left on the board, other than a potential column 2 for Crabbi with bottom point FRZ Highway 0, which Ney will be able to block at 5. So yeah, it pretty much takes all of the bingos off the board, and then Crabbi has 2 graffitis to Ney's 0.
Yeah, like it just gives a lot of points away. Like at this position, like you have to basically assume that Crabby's gonna go for RDH Graffiti. So either you like go to contest RDH Graffiti. Well, you very much have to contest RDH Graffiti because this means Crabby's basically gonna get 3 points for free, and Nay, on the other hand, isn't really positioned that well to get 3 points themselves before Crabby's done with RDH Graffiti. Like Nay did not go to pick up Sky Dino Air 6.
Yeah, so that's the backtrack for that.
So that, like, well, it's either that you could go to Kogani and get the 2 bottom point souls that they stopped, didn't pick up, and then Veritop in the first maze. Like, then Crabby does like the other squares. Like maybe does Kibo points or does Skyscraper points or something. It's all just very like.
Yeah,
Nay
I mean, there are
basically-
2 points
yeah.
left in Benton Show right now. for Nay. They have no way of winning the game just by still being in Benton. I think leaving right now is the right call. They need to get into Kogane and start contesting Crabby. The question is, do they start up RDH Graffiti? Do they get there before Crabby finishes the route? Because that time sink of losing out on the RDH Graffiti could just well lose them the game. If they skip RDH and they go deeper in and pick up points ahead of Crabby, they might still have a chance in this game. In fact, I think they have a pretty good chance in this game. But it is very much the read that Nay makes right.
Yeah. I think this is just like an extension of like, you know, before like Nay's playing kind of like tightrope-y, you know, like any misplay. Oh no,
No.
Graffiti. No, Nay. What do you think Crabby's been doing? Look at like how long Crabby's not marked anything. What do you think Crabby's doing?
Like, if you're going for RDH Graffiti now, why didn't you go for it before you went to Highway 0?
Oh, Nay. Every time I see Nay miss a jump, I'm like, does Nay realize? Does Nay realize?
Is Crabby
like-
finishing the route here with Sauna? No, he's still got a while to go.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's got
so
top. He's doing the entire thing.
yeah,
Yes,
Nay is
top it.
gonna be pretty deep in this level by the time that Crabby's finished. But they are gonna have committed a lot of time to this route for no reward, which means that you know, we get back to advantage Crabby, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like Nay has a slight advantage over. Well, not really, because I was about to say like Nay has an advantage over Crabby because Nay has the bottom point tape, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Where's Nay
Unfortunately,
going?
that doesn't.
Oh, Nay just messed up the jump. And fell off.
Oh,
Nay, please,
no.
please just leave.
Please, Nay. Please
no,
leave.
no, Nay. What are you doing?
How long has it been since Crabby marked a square at this point? It's been 4 minutes.
Yeah, like what? Hello, car. What could Crabby possibly be doing currently? Like, did you snipe Crabby to like Highway 0? Like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Crabby's about to mark it, and Nay is about to be down horrendous when this gets marked.
Yeah, this was unfortunately a really poor read from Nay. Pretty much as soon as they went into Highway 0, I feel like they were putting themselves pretty heavily on the back foot. And yeah, I mean, we've seen this is an improvement from Nay compared to the Ace Bats game, and like they are definitely showing that they are improving, but there's still a lot of strategy nuance that I think they're yet to pick up. Crabby is doing something. Okay, he needs to go into the sewers.
Yeah, there's
Interestingly enough, though, that little moment of hesitation means that they're entering pretty evenly. Crabby needs 2 points to win. What have we got? Bottom point, Catwalk Cube, and Air 4.
He's gonna go bottom point. If he goes
And
bottom,
FLC.
okay, he's gonna go back. He's gonna go Kogane.
He
Or,
knows that
sorry,
he can
Dark Side
win
rather.
with Benton. He needs 2 points to win. He knows that those 2 points are in Benton, and he knows that Nay was in Benton and has not marked anything in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So he can pretty safely assumed that Nay moved out of Benton and is now in Kogane, meaning he just goes to win the game.
Yeah,
So
like,
yeah, a better read on the situation here for Crabby.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. I mean, like, like these kind of small things are kind of hard to do in a bingo game because I feel like they kind of go against what you would assume, or like they're like all of these small like bingo exclusive ideas. Like, what if you just did a graffiti and then didn't finish it? What, like, oh, you need to like, or like, yeah, like recognizing your opponent's doing this means that you have time to do these things, but all these small things and you have to squeeze all of them in like really quickly, and it's just like.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance
Yeah.
that goes into bingo strategy, and then there's also the kind of variable of who you're playing against.
Yeah.
Because I think there's definitely moves that Crabbi will go for that other players won't go for, based on his own confidence in his abilities, but also his own tendency to, as you said at the end of game one, kind of overthink things.
Yeah.
And that just makes it harder. I feel like when you're playing up against someone, you feel like you've assessed the optimal play, and your opponent is thinking one step ahead, and it throws you off because they're not doing what you expect them to do. Yeah, there's just so many variables that go into a game of bingo. I think the best tonic is practice, and to play as much bingo as you possibly can. And I think what we're seeing here is Crabbi, who played the most games in the off season, versus Nay, who played no games in the off season.
Oh no, Nay! No, Nay, please. What's Crabbi doing? Is Crabbi going to go for points? Is he going to go for Sky? He doesn't know if he wants to go to Sky Dino and get the tape in Air 6 and then pick up points in Skyscraper. Decide he's going to do that.
At this point, it is all flavor because he knows he's won the game. He should know.
I mean, the thing is that there's still execution here, because if he messes up, like picking up air somehow, or like somehow is on the struggle bus to get to points, like Skyscraper points, like he'd still lose, but like, that's obviously like more of an execution thing, while like tactically, like he should have basically won the game. And he seems to not be going for any like ridiculous strategy. He's just gonna go for normal, or not normal, but like, solid strats. Don't think too hard about what you need to do. Just go. Yeah, he does the air unlock. He does it like here on the side of this roof. That's faster, but like, it's all like not trying to make it harder than it needs to be. And yeah, now he's gonna go for Skyscraper points. And the only thing they can do is either try and somehow make it to Skyscraper, or go for Kibo points, which will be Kibo points is basically saying GG's, and going for Skyscraper is like trying at least to win, but it's
a huge uphill struggle from where Nay is right now.
Yes.
to beat Crabbi to points. It would take Crabbi making some severe mistakes, which really just doesn't happen. This is going to come down to, effectively, if Nay goes for Kibo points, it will be a 1-point game. And these two games were close in terms of points. And like, credit to Nay, their execution in terms of picking up all the points that they needed to pick up has been pretty solid. They had a little bit of a struggle in, I think it was Sewers in game 1, but they've been playing mechanically very, very well. It's just that decision making in the moment, I feel, that just needs a little bit more.
Just like the weird subtleties of bingo are just like not there yet for Nay, which is unfortunate. But like everything else, like pretty good. Like playing solid. Like
there it is.
Like movement quite good. But then it just kind of gets caught with some of the weird subtleties of 1v1 bingo that you just like, that are just hard to grasp and hard to like think of in the moment. But congrats to Crabbi, closing it up. Close games.
Yeah, it's another win for Crabbi, but numerically very close.
Indeed.
And I get to say my favorite thing ever, which was, that was a pretty close 2-0.
Close 2-0. T.O., can you, it was a 2-0, but can you write down like close? Close though?
I'll put it in the spreadsheet. 2-0, it's close.
But close. It's a good
But
match.
yeah, I mean, immediately actually looking at the Bingo Sync chat, they immediately identifies where they made their mistake, which was going to Highway 0. So honestly, this is quite refreshing to see that like Nate is improving game on game, and they are they're developing in terms of strategy and decision making. Because that was a match against Crabbi, which it's going to be intimidating, but it came down to a couple of points here and there, just one decision, one routing decision that made the difference in the end. I don't think did we have any bingos in this match? I don't think we did.
We did
So
not.
it was very much just down to being in the right place at the right time. I think Crabby's experience wins through there.
Definitely. It was an interesting match. I think it's unfortunately kind of a sign that happens every tournament that people kind of like warm into bingo like over time, like as the tournament progresses, kind of relearn the subtleties of bingo, which is a bit of a shame because Nay played like this, start of the season. They would have maybe beaten Ace Bats, and maybe would have a better record, but instead, they're going to be going into week 5. Wait, week 4? 5.
Week 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be versus
Going-
you,
yeah.
won't it?
Going into week 5. What is it? 1 and 3 play against me. No, 1 and 2.
1 and 2 to play against you.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's how it is. It's how it is. This happens every season. People warm into bingo, and then it's like, at least I feel like it's like, oh, I'm left to wonder, like, what if they played well like the start of the season?
Well, we actually have Nay joining us. Hello, Nay.
What's popping? How you doing?
Pretty well, I guess. Considering I just lost, but
Good to hear.
It was
good to
a.
hear.
I mean, I already said it,
was
but
a
I'll say
nice
it again.
game. Like,
It was
I
a pretty
enjoyed
close
the-
to it.
Yeah, game 2 was really fun to play. I'm really disappointed that I committed to Highway 0 though, because that was really terrible. I should not
we
have
pointed
done
it
that.
out during the game. It was
But
unfortunate.
other than that, I was really happy with how I played. I think it was a close game, and even first game, despite the shambles in sewers, was really okay. So
Yeah.
overall, I'm
Yeah, I
pretty
think-
glad.
Both games kind of just came down to like late game,
Yeah,
just one
yeah.
decision making
Like
a difference.
the late game, when Crabby marked Kibo tricks, I was crying pretty much, and then there was no coming back from that. And yeah, it came down to the wire. So I'm pretty happy that I've managed to give Crabby at least a run for his money, because
Yeah.
that's not a given.
Yeah, I mean, over the course of the 2 games, there were no bingos scored because
Yeah.
the 2 of you were going back and
Yeah.
forth,
We managed to
kind
block
of setting
everything.
up your own plays whilst also denying other plays. And I really liked how you started this game 2,
Yeah.
with just dipping straight into was it Dogan that you started
Yeah,
with?
Dogan. I took
And
right
then
the
just
streak
and then
first.
you grabbed that and then you left Crabby to work on all the other stuff in Shibuya while you started setting
I
up your
know
own
that-
plays, but also denying anything that he could do with all of that
Yeah.
stuff that he picked up in Shibuya.
Yeah, DH was so stacked that I could basically challenge everything just from there. So that was like the best play, I think. But yeah, in the end, he prevailed. So GG's to him, as always.
Yeah, well, it was a good game. I enjoyed watching that. Thank you for being with us in
Well,
this
I'm glad you
early morning
enjoyed.
match.
That makes waking up early not not early. It's like
Waking up
10
early,
for
weren't
you,
you
right?
awake? Yeah.
But yeah, that makes waking up more enjoyable, I guess.
Well, good to hear.
I mean, some would call it early. I would call it late because I haven't been to bed yet. So I'm gonna go do that now.
Why? Just go sleep. These people.
Anyway,
I do not condone staying up like all the way through the night so you can be awake at 9 a.m. I do not condone.
look, it works for me better. It works for me better.
Okay,
Anyway,
sure.
we're gonna wrap this up because Swinkachu also needs to sleep. Thank you all for
Yeah.
joining us. Coming up soon, we have Ryomi versus Soldi. I believe that is tonight, technically. It's like 2 a.m. for us, or 3 a.m.
Right,
for us
this is-
Europeans.
In the same day.
But yeah, in the evening hours for the Americans, we'll have Ryomi versus Soldi, and then we'll have the live in-person Darth versus 7th Ace match coming up tomorrow. So
Exciting.
lots of bingo on the way. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.